for the centre bounces and then drift forward. And I think she's just trying to manipulate some matchups, catch Carlton's defenders a bit off guard.
Yeah, definitely, Lee. I think that's spot on. I think she's running into that midfield and starting there and actually just dropping back straight away, just to ensure that they keeps that defence on their toes and it mucks up Carlton's mid structure a little bit.
So we're underway in the second term. Hatchard dives into the footy. Egan won out in that contest. That's a good win for the youngster. Hosking back to Prasparkas. Had a bit of the ball, just hasn't quite been as effective as usual yet. That's a clever kick. Egan worked in the space, took the mark. If she turns quickly, she has Harris in a one-on-one. Instead gives to Prasparkas. Goes laterally to Vesio. And that now allows time for the Crows to get numbers back in defence. So Harris is going to have to compete against a few Crows. She might be good enough. Couldn't take the mark. Quick kick there. Flying shot at goal from Brooke Walker. We'll go out of bounds on the full.
Adelaide coach Matthew Clark spoke about the leading lanes. We can see that spare defender just dropping back, ensuring those tall forwards aren't able to get a clean run at it at the moment. So that's going to be really important for Carlton's forward line to manipulate that and make sure we can move them off.
The kick from Dalton was offhand, so it was a throw-in instead. So an opportunity for Carlton from the stoppage. Egan, again, the Crows have had a number of smothers in this contest so far. Kick Phillips, Laloifi went to ground, but had numbers in support. One of them was Wilson. Back to Plain, just a high ball, didn't really direct it. The umpire called play on, said it was touched. Mules, again in the Phillips direction, takes the chest mark. Good, healthy crowd here at Richmond Oval. You can hear the applause for the superstar. Hatchard. And now Adelaide will look to build. Inside 50. Foley's pushed forward, so's Gum. We know she's clever in front of goal. Is able to get boot the ball. Metcalf got into a little bit of space. Couldn't take it cleanly. Unlucky not to get the free kick. Hatchard, strong tackle here. Here's Phillips. First chance at goal. It's a high ball into the pocket. Eloise Jones did well. Kept her eye on the footy. Little bit of swirly breeze, but she did well. And it'll just take her time to think through this one and see if she can kick the Crows' second goal of the game.
Lee, at quarter time, there was 8 rebound 50s from Adelaide, the Adelaide Crows. Every time they seem to take it off their defensive 50, they really are really great with ball in hand. And here we have another shot on goal.
Tough kick from the pocket. She's a beautiful finisher though, Eloise Jones. And look at that one. The drop punt, and the Crows have got 2 on the board. Eloise Jones, the 2018, kicked a few goals there, and a goal against St Kilda a few weeks ago, a goal against Geelong, and now a goal against Carlton. And some players like to kick the check side or run around on the left. Eloise Jones just slotted it calmly with the drop punt, and as Doc Clark have said, Alex making the most of their opportunities.
Definitely. I think these young kids, particularly in Eloise Jones and Danielle Ponta, have really found it important to step up in these big moments.
Adelaide, the first 2 goals of this game, jump out to a 12-point lead. Sarah, you're able to get a bit more info on the Erin Phillips, Doc Clark chat at quarter time?
A bit more info. I can tell you what, she was a beacon of intensity. She was focused on Matthew Clark while other girls were perhaps getting into a bit of a daydream, but Erin Phillips, she just wanted to know exactly what was going on. And Eloise Jones, we saw her kick that goal there. She was getting her neck assessed at the quarter-time break. I think she's okay, Lee.
Yeah, goal will do that to you, Sarah. Won't worry about the sore neck now. As we see Plain it is, take the mark in front of Jones. And the Blues will look to switch the ball again. They've got runners on the outside. If the ball sits for Pound, she had someone up ahead, but it didn't. And now the turnover. Ponta takes a bounce, looks up. There's only Blues back there, so she'll have to use the runners. The kick inside 50 will sit for Wilson. Plain, a little fumble, just a bit jittery, Carlton. Adelaide's pressure is forcing Carlton to fumble a little bit of ball. Pound, wide, and finds Edwards.
Carlton are definitely trying to stop that rebounding and run of Adelaide in their counter-attack. They're really making sure they've got a great wall of defence if Adelaide come down into their forward line.
Harris flew, but Walker was in front, and Harris just pulled out at the last moment to allow her teammate to take the mark. And now Brooke Walker will continue down the boundary line to Prasparkas. Disposal number 8 for her. will go into the corridor. It's a dangerous kick, but if it's effective, it'll work, finds Egan. Brazzali was pushing forward, looked there for a moment, then hesitated. Adelaide have, again, got plenty of numbers back in defence. So she'll try and create something. Went short and wide for Vesio. It wasn't a good kick, but Vesio was good enough to gather. Prasparkas just playing around with it a bit here, the Blues, and again another fumble. They just haven't been clean in this quarter. Prasparkas, Moody, and again Prasparkas. This time's happy just to kick it into the pocket. Can they take a mark? They can't. And they'll reset as we're lucky enough to be joined by Chloe Dalton on the boundary line. Chloe, what was the message from half a quarter time?
I think we were using the ball pretty well, trying to open the game up, using the width there. So we're just going to keep trying attacking that, try and spread them nice and wide.
Chloe, obviously playing a little bit more inside mid this year. Are you enjoying that new role?
Yeah, I'm absolutely loving it. It's pretty steep learning curve. Started out on the wing, but I'm enjoying trying to get my hands on a bit more of the footy.
Tough conditions out there, Chloe. We'll let you get your breath back.
Thanks, guys.
As we get back to the action, you can hear the huffing and puffing there, as Sarah Ollie told us early in the game. It's quite muggy conditions, quite humid. Possibly a bit of rain expected later this afternoon, so it will be hard work for the girls as Prasparkas continues to get to work in this second quarter. The kick, we're looking for Harris, but Adelaide have generated the free defender. That was Rychich. Out wide to Sophie Lee. Pops it up to Allen. That's Najwar Allen. Good kick, finds Marinov. You know she wants to wheel onto her left, does that, and found another uncontested play, and they're out here, the Crows. If Considine can get it over the top, Ponta's in a bit of space. She's got plenty of metres on Brazzali and Hosking. We know she's a dead eye and very creative. Goes back to Hatchard, back to Considine. Has she got the journey from there? She strikes the fat part of the footy, strikes it nicely. A bit of the Gaelic style of kick from Considine, the Irish woman, but it doesn't matter. It's effective, and the Crows have got 3. Well, it was a bit of a Gaelic style kick from Considine, wasn't it, Alex? But it was effective, hit the fat part of the footy, and it just travelled and got the required distance.
They're just so effective and so strong, but they're so quick to get their boot to ball that they actually have the time to adjust the football in the way they'd like to. But again, the Carlton forwards backs are just getting caught a little bit off guard, particularly with Adelaide's really strong counter-attack. Again, from a rebound 50.
Ailish Considine with a very clever finish. The Irish woman, a Gaelic star, kicked a goal a couple of weeks ago against St Kilda, was dropped last week and back into the side this afternoon as Downey will be pinged for holding the football. Doesn't agree with the decision. And it'll go the way of Marinov. So Adelaide really starting to get on top in this game now. Carlton are going to need to respond. They're going to look to their leaders as Marinov goes towards half forward, looking for Bedell. Hatchard, so clean at ground level. There is the goal kicker, Considine. Pops it into a bit of space, one-on-one. Laloifi, one out that time against Phillips, and then a nice kick. Switches the play to Wilson. Has Plain in support, and they'll work themselves nicely to the wing.
This is where they just need to get the ball moving here, Lee, so where they make sure they can actually counteract what Adelaide want to do in their backline and have that spare back to take away their kicking lanes.
Brooke Walker's kick will sit for Vesio, who tries to pop it up to Taylor Harris' advantage. There's numbers at ground level for the Blues if they can win out. Sarah Allen, as she does so often, just gets a hand in. Had 3 to beat and just did enough to tap it into the path of Justine Mules, who's having her best season as a Crow. And a nice kick too, finds Jones. The game's starting to open up now a little bit. 4th. Marinov running really hard into space. If the ball sits, they're out here. Has Bedell. Instead, wheels back inside. Wasn't the right option. And a turnover. Prasparkas. Vesio has Harris in about 40 metres of space. If she can just spot her, she does. Harris will take the uncontested mark. Has Walker running to goal, but she'll go back, take the responsibility upon herself, and needs to kick this one for the Blues.
Lee, that was really smart by Taylor there, just to make sure she marks it, takes her time, really calms down. She could have easily palmed it off to Brooke Walker there, but really sensible, really mature in making sure she's actually having an impact here.
Well, this is the leadership we were talking about. She's taken the responsibility upon herself. Missed one earlier. We'll try and make amends here. Has she done it? She's allowed the breeze to come back, but just misses. Hit the post. So a couple of behinds for Taylor Harris. And they're yet to kick their first major, the Blues, as we tick down towards half-time. Sarah Allen goes short to Cox. Has Rychich in support. Uses her as a decoy and then dashes away. Pops it into the corridor. They're getting into the corridor pretty easy now, the Crows. Stevie Lee Thompson has a runner out the back. It's Ponta. How will it sit? Plain getting back there. Wilson's been good for the Blues in this first half. And again, opportunity for Carlton on the outer side. Jess Hosking to her sister Sarah. Doesn't take possession, cleverly taps it back to Plain. And now for Dalton. Will work the 1-2 with Plain. Great chase, Mules. Just did enough. G. Dalton. Back to G. Plenty of numbers in support here, Carlton. If Grace Egan takes advantage, she will. She gets to 40, pops it over the top. An uncontested mark taken by Nicola Stevens. Nice build-up by the Blues. And now another one of Carlton's leaders needs to settle and kick the goal here, Alex.
One of the best kicks in the game, Nick Stevens. She's a left footer here, so she's going to be in prime position to have a great set shot at goal.
Generally been a wing or a half back, but this year has been deployed as a half forward to use those skills, and she makes no mistake. Nice reply by the Blues. They needed that, and they've pegged one back. And Nicola Stevens kicks her first goal of the afternoon, and they get within 11 points and a much-needed confidence booster, Alex, because, as we've said, they've had a fair bit of play and a fair bit of ball in this first half, but just haven't been able to hit the scoreboard.
I think it came from Grace Egan there. She really steadied the ship and made sure she was really, really precise with her footwork to hit up Nicola Stevens there instead of blazing away and trying to kick the goal herself.
And Nicola Stevens, the former Magpie, steadies the ship for the Blues. As we're back in the middle, there is Dalton, as you touched on. Alex playing more as an inside mid this year, using her speed. Breaks away, gets the ball inside 50. Walker will wrap up Cox. Some of the ball winners for Carlton so far in this game and for the Crows, Alex?
Yeah, Maddie Press-Parker sitting on 13 disposals with Anne Hatchard on the 9 and Ebony Marinoff on the 6. So Carlton have definitely had more of the football in total, particularly for individual players. So hopefully we can see this translate onto scoreboard before the halftime break.
Mules just grubbers one about 5 or 10 metres. McAvoy down low. Chance again. Dalton's been busy last few minutes. Out to Hosking, who has a bit of time and space. Goes to G. We know she's creative. Doesn't kick it into the pocket. They try and use their hands again, the Blues. They've done this well. Walker, nice little sidestep. Bit of touch rugby in that. Harris off one step around the body. Sprays it wide.
They seem to be moving the ball really well by hand today, Lee, and then just that last 2 or 3 touches, they're just fumbling it in regards to polishing it off.
Yeah, they've had 47 handballs to 20, Carlton, but just got to make sure you get the balance right. You've got to kick the ball at the right time. And they may have just over-handballed it a couple of times in this quarter, the Blues. There's the free kick against Hosking for a throw. Will go the way of Nikki Gore.
Nikki Gore's one of Adelaide's players from last year that didn't play too much footy in her first year, but's really worked hard in the off-season, it seems, to get her speed up and get her fitness up to make sure she is in really high contention for this elite Adelaide midfield.
Averages 6.7 tackles this season, does Gore, second at the club behind the tackling machine Marinoff. Kick went looking for Gum, Harrington, and now Edwards. Scrappy old kick, went to fourth, great chase down and pressure. Great tackle, Natalie Plain. And Carlton, again, will use that outer side of Richmond Oval here. It's Loins. Started the game well, been a little bit quieter this quarter, went towards Harris, and he'll get the free kick for an arm chop. So again, the Blues will have another inside 50. Has Vesio and Stevens deep. The kick will go towards Stevens, a big fly at the back, couldn't take the mark. Numbers there for the Crows. And we'll get a stoppage inside 50 as we tick down to 2.5 minutes left in this half.
Maddie Press-Parker has just come onto the ground, so she's loose potentially at this stoppage, guys.
Keep an eye out for her. We know she's lethal in the contest. Downey will do the ruck work for the Blues. Metcalf for the Crows. Downey tried to fist it back towards a teammate. Overshot it. And Marinov's kick will be turned over. Hosking will just have to wait because there's a lot of numbers back inside 50 and tried to spot up a target just inside 50. Didn't work. Vessio's looked lively at ground level. Again, just tried to do a little bit too much. Should have kicked it in deep. Fourth. Heard the call of Marinov. Cox went without it. Vessio again. Been lively. Will get a free kick in the back. Been dangerous at ground level, Vessio.
She's been very clean today, Lee. It's fantastic. She's running through the footy and really trusting and backing herself. It's just that last touch, she shouldn't hesitate. She's got elite decision-making skills and just needs to keep backing them in.
Disposal number 9 for her. 7 contested. It's a good kick. Had a few Blues at the top of the square and out the corner of her eye spotted Maddie Prespakis.
It's great teamwork there, Lee. Maddie's obviously, her voice is booming out the back, and Downey and Walker have just left that to make her come in and ensure it's in great hands to hopefully slot this through.
The young superstar has had a huge second term. Already had the 13 disposals, and late in this half, a big kick for Carlton. Can she capitalise? Of course she can. And she taps the chest, and the Blues have kicked 2 in a row, and they bridge the margin within a kick.
She loves a goal celebration, Prespakis. But particularly this kick from Vessio here, pinpointed, knew where she was going. Prespakis knew where she had to be. And fantastic to see the little youngster get up and about early with the chest pump.
Well, they deserve that, the Blues. Reward for effort. They've had a fair bit of ball in their front half. Just haven't quite been able to capitalise, but a couple of late goals just gives them a lot of confidence going into the half. So a great confidence booster for the Blues before half-time, and it's their young superstar, Maddie Prespakis. Drifted forward. 14 disposals for her now, and the Blues, they might get one more before three-quarter time. Plain goes deep. Harris will launch from the back. Couldn't take the mark. Allen for the Crows is there. Prespakis again. Been sensational. Loins tried to break the tackle. Couldn't. Phillips been quiet at this quarter. Vessio been really clean. Edwards, can she find a mark? Goes in the direction of Walker. Follow-up tackle was good. Umpire let play go. We tick down to under 20 seconds. G. Umpires put the whistle away. Foley. And they might get themselves out of trouble here, the Crows. They will. And that'll see us out. We know Stevie Lee's dangerous, but she might run out of time. She has. There could have been counter-attack city going on there. But an entertaining half of footy has seen Carlton kick the last 2 goals through Nicola Stevens and Prespakis to peg the margin back to 5 points after it got out to an 18-point lead to the Crows. And it's a good game of footy on our hands here. Tough conditions. Grand final rematch from last year. The Blues have addressed it. But it's not going to be that big of a margin today as we go down to the boundary line. Sarah Ollie.
Renee, hot and humid conditions. How are you finding it all?
Yeah, we're a bit used to this, so it's pretty good so far.
Carlton really came to play in that second quarter. How do you guys wrestle the momentum back?
I think we just need to switch on full time. We've lapsed a few times and we've got a few get out of jail free cards, so we just got to switch on for the rest of the game.
Lastly, Erin Phillips, a massive inclusion. What kind of emotional lift does that give your team?
Yeah, a lot of excitement. We just want to see her have fun and get out there and finish the whole game, so we'll do it together.
Good luck for the second half.
Thank you.
All right, stick with us because coming up after the break, Joey and Elle, they're going to dissect the first half.